to a 1-1.
Yeah.
It'd be Flame
Make it
Juggler
spread
and
as much
Knife
as
Juggler
possible.
all in one. But yeah, so I mean, you sort of alluded to this. Chessdude is in a lot of trouble now, especially if this is Freeze Mage. The Zoo deck might not have been the best choice going into this type of format. It's a strong deck, but it does, especially now that Death Rattles are gone, that Nerubian Egg's gone, that Haunter Creeper's gone. You don't have that sticky of a board. You don't have, as much comeback potential on board since Implosion's gone. So we'll see if you can pull through this last game. Sorry.
Yeah, missing a Nerubian Egg, missing Haunted Creeper quite a bit in that match, especially in that game right there. And if this is Freeze Mage, you got to believe that Pacoima is just poised to do this reverse sweep here. And, being down 2-0, you can't ever feel good about that in a matchup. But here, knowing the last deck is Zoo, I mean, you got to be like, well, at least I have a pretty good shot now. I mean, you're better than 50-50 on a lot of your matchups here. And you have to just win 3 games. This is very doable for Pacoima here, and this would be really big. You've seen him be a little emotional in the early game, game 2, where it seemed unwinnable, and he got like a really good burn. So I got to believe he'd be doing cartwheels after this last game if he gets the reverse sweep here.
Yeah, keep in mind this is the sort of continuation from the Open number 5 for the One Nation Gamer Circuit that happened yesterday. So this is basically the top 4 players from that Open. This tournament does have a $1,000 prize pool, so this is a semifinal match. Winning this match automatically guarantees $300, which is $500 for first place, $300 for second place. And it gets you one step closer. If you win the Open, you automatically qualify for the next feature tournament, which will be feature tournament number 3, which has a $5,500 prize pool. So, and it also gets you Geico points, which gets you closer to qualifying for PAX Prime, which is a $20,000 prize pool. So there's just so much on the line for just these single matches alone that get you so much closer to winning even more money. So definitely pretty nerve-wracking for these players.
Yeah. Pretty good opener here from Chessdude. Got a lot of options for the first few turns. And along with what you just said, have I told you how big of a fan I am of this Open series?
You did, yes. It's nuts, man. It's nuts.
Not just that, but how good it's been for my team, Astrogation and Eversiction. Eversiction's already qualified for the end of the year one at PAX East, and Astrogation's on his way to possibly doing it as well. So I'm pretty excited about what this Open Series tournament has brought to Hearthstone. Not to mention, I mean, it's got the biggest prize pool of any Open Series tournament out there. So I think it's great. And let's talk a little bit about what's going on in Pacoima's hand over there. Do you see the 6-mana minion sitting in his hand on the other side of the board?
It's a Reno Jackson.
Yeah, this is a card that I'm a big fan of, and it's actually taken a step back with the release of Old Gods. There haven't been a ton of Reno Jackson decks, and I got to wonder if this is just Reno Jackson Freeze Mage. This is a deck we saw a decent bit before Old Gods, or is there some other spicy stuff going on? I've seen like Reno Cthulhu decks and all kinds of crazy stuff going on.
Yeah, well, it looks like Reno Freeze. Reno Freeze is decent, but it's a lot less consistent than normal Freeze. But what it does do is absolutely wreck fast board-centric decks like Zoo. Because you clear the board and then you heal back up to 30. And if you do that at any point in the game, you win. That's just how it is. They don't have enough stuff. They don't have enough time to reload. So I'd say Pacoima is just flat out favored in this match. Unless Chessdude can put so much pressure on early in the game that Pacoima doesn't have time to draw into a board clear and has to use Reno Jackson before that happens.
Well, this is actually a good spot for Chessdude. There's no way this brand is going to die this turn, and getting a couple extra cards off of this Dark Peddler next turn could be a big deal, especially if he finds something like Abusive Sergeant, because there's a chance Pacoima just has to play Doomsayer here to respect what's going to happen next turn. But the problem is this only Doomsayer in his deck, and he might have to wait till a Cone of Cold turn or a Frost Nova turn to really get Chessdude later.
And there's so many things that punishes Doomsayer with a brand on the board. A single Abusive Sergeant is enough damage to take out a Doomsayer. A Dark Peddler has a good chance to pick up a single Abusive Sergeant, which would clear the Doomsayer. A single Powerful Woman clears the Doomsayer. There's just so much stuff that if you just play this Doomsayer, completely naked, that's going to punish it. So,
look how anguished Pacoima is, too, by this turn. He's not even looking at his screen, it looks like.
Yeah.
He knows the situation that he's in. This is one of the deciding turns of the game.
Yeah, And it looks like he is
going to
just
draw some cards. Yeah.
Yeah, I like this play. He needs to try and find a better freeze effect. There's Frost Nova. So Frost Nova for Doomsayer, since Zoo Warlocks have effectively cut silences out of their decks, it's really hard for them to deal with that combination. So Chessdude's in trouble.
By the way, that's the second Arcane Intellect that just got put into Pacoima's hand. I wonder how many doubles he has in his deck. Is that the only card that he has 2 of here? Or some of his secrets are 2 of. So we're going to wonder, when is this Reno going to be active? That's a situation that can come up.
That's interesting. Wow, that's... So there was the reiteration of Reno Freeze Mage that existed pre-standard, did have a lot of 2-ofs in it. It had like 2 of Ice Blocks. It had 2 of Frost Bolts. Sometimes 2 of Fireballs. But I don't think it had 2 of Arcane Intellect, if I remember correctly. Maybe some iterations did, because it was a rare deck to see. But to see it now is interesting. But, regardless, this deck, just even without Reno Jackson, does wonders against Zoo Warlock. So
the Reno isn't glowing right now, so I got to believe there's another 2 of somewhere in his deck.
Well, I don't think it glows until it becomes playable anyway, until you have enough mana.
Oh, so you have 6 mana, okay.
But I don't think it would glow anyway because he has multiple cards. But I'm pretty sure it wouldn't glow until it's playable, regardless. But I'm sure he still has 2-ofs left. Maybe not after that Frostbolt. Yeah, he probably has 2 of secrets. Who am I kidding?
Now, Chessdude, he didn't Dark Peddler last turn, and now he's facing down the fact that his entire board is going to get cleared here. And I wonder if he's even considering still playing Dark Peddler here to draw 2 cards off this brand. But no, he's just going to go ahead and let this Doomsayer go off. So Pacoima gets initiative back here, and there's just a 1/1 sitting on the other side of the board. It looks like a pretty clean Arcane Intellect ping turn to me.
Yeah.
Picks up a Blizzard, too. It's a really good card against Zoo, and it's shaping up to be really good against Chessdude's hand as well.
All right, so there's a second Frost Nova as well. So, lots of 2-ofs. But, Chessdude does have some reload here. He's got a lot of synergy in his hand. But is it going to be enough to win the game?
Leopardome is I'm just so sad every time I look at Leopardome. Look at that guy. He's just got a bunch of 1s on him now. What used to be Leopardome?
Yeah. It's disappointing. Especially since, well, I mean, I understand it.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
There was one staple card in every single aggro deck ever made. And that common denominator was that smelly little gnome.
Yeah, him and Knife Juggler were just too ubiquitous for sure. Like they had to be nerfed. It's better for the game, obviously, but
yeah,
it still feels so bad that card is just like pretty unplayable now. It doesn't trade for anything anymore.
There's a couple people that still throw the old Leopardome in there, but it's not nearly what it used to be.
They're kidding themselves. Let's be real, TJ. They're like the realists. They're like, in my day, we used to have 2/1 Leopardomes, and I'm still playing it as a 1/1.
Living in the past, Grandpa.
Yeah. Back in 2014, way back in the day of Hearthstone.
Yeah. Pacoima's just gonna keep just trying to stall out time here. He is piecing together a lot of damage, but still playing the board control game.
No Sea Giant available to Chessdude yet this turn, and he's got to feel a little weird about this Forbidden Ritual card. I mean, he may go for it this turn for a bunch of guys, but that card does not combo well with Gurmok, by the way, on the same turn. Mm-hmm. You have to actually get a full resolution of the board. You have to make sure that it stays alive, and that's something that doesn't happen very much against Freeze Mage. When you make a bunch of 1/1s and they have a lot of mana, usually a Blizzard or a Flame Strike is waiting on the other side of the board.
Yep. I don't think he really has much of a choice, though.
Yeah.
So many of his cards in his hand right now rely on having a board in order to play them. Forbidden Ritual and Sea Giant kind of have anti-synergy later in the game because you use up all your mana. So even if you're Sea Giant, it has to. There's rare situations where you can play both in the same turn. You have to have your 1/1 stick around and then play the Sea Giant.
you have to like play it when you already have something on board, trade in what you have, and then have it still be 0 because of the minions on the other side of the board. It's like a really weird situation. Also, yeah. I think Gurmok is kind of weird in these decks sometimes as well. I think this deck is a lot harder to trigger Gurmok than it was beforehand. You have like a lot less like sticky minions. I've actually cut the Gurmok from my version. I've been playing Dark Iron Dwarf instead, just like another pump spell for my little crappy 1/1s and 1/2s and 1/3s that are coming out, and I've actually liked that a lot. But it makes it to where you have to play less weird. Like there's some games where you have to play strangely because you need your Gurmok to go off to win the game.
Yeah, that's pretty true. So this just looks like... All right, so if he plays Blizzard, he can make it so that Chessdude can't play anything, and he could also develop a Loot Hoarder and like ping the face, or he can develop Bloodmage Thanos and like ping down the 9/4 or ping the face. So if he plays Frost Nova here, then he could set up for a better board clear the next turn, and basically just effectively buy more time. So maybe it's even better to play the Frost Nova here, but we'll see what he decides to do. Because Blizzard, you don't play anything else. I think you might want to take the opportunity to develop other stuff on the same turn that he's also freezing the board.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I think it's what he's thinking about right now, and it looks like there's a Bloodmage Thanos in play on Pacoima's side of the board. He can even get in a chipped 2 damage here with the Loot Hoarder as well, which he's getting. So every little life point counts. And you're seeing Pacoima, he's actually just going to go ahead and start going for it here.
Wait, that's very close to lethal. It's not lethal yet, but he's correct. Because you can still next turn, you can... Chessdude can't play anything. Pinging a minion off the board is wrong, because then you just give your opponent a chance to develop something. And if they develop a Sea Giant, Blizzard doesn't take it out. So, and Chessdude's not even going to tap, so he respects the amount of damage.
Yeah, I will say I like this no tap from Chessdude, actually. He's got a bunch of cards in his hand already. I don't think an extra card is going to make a huge difference here. And the 2 points of life total could be a huge problem in this game because there's a Bloodmage Thanos in play on Pacoima's side of the board. He can even get in a chipped 2 damage here with the Loot Hoarder as well, which he's getting. So every little life point counts. And you're seeing Pacoima, he's actually just going to go ahead and start going for it here.
Wait, that's very close to lethal. It's not lethal yet, but he's 2 damage off. So he's going to... If Chessdude had tapped last turn, he would have been dead. So really good spot, but now Chessdude can't tap. Oh,
yeah, wow. I mean, does Chessdude have a way out of this?
How much damage is that? He can trade 2 in, so he can play 2 minions. So he can play he can play Direwolf Alpha and Abusive Sergeant and Power Overwhelming.
Okay,
but
so
Gurmok would be more damage.
Yeah, Abusive is worth 3.
So so it's going to be 2, 3.
This might be enough.
4, 5. Plus 9 is 14. Plus 5 from Gurmok is 19. Plus 3 from Direwolf Alpha is 22. Plus Power Overwhelming. Yeah, that should be it.
Yeah, this should be enough.
Wow.
So did Pacoima just...
That's more than enough.
Wow. Pacoima might have gotten just a little too aggressive here.
Yeah,
he have enough room for all this. That's the problem. I don't know if he has enough room for all this.
No, he does. He just Direwolf Alphas and then Gurmok's the face. And he gets the summoning bonus from the Darkshire Councilman as well. And he gets the extra damage from the Gurmok and the Pillar. So that is going to be lethal damage. And I don't think he had an Ice Block up. We can't see the secret, but they usually pull the secret up. So that's going to be Chessdude pulling a win.
Hey, look at Pacoima's
out of
reaction.
Nowhere.
He didn't think there was any possible way that he could lose from that point. And I think the look on each of their faces was perfect. It like told you exactly there. Like when he just put all the burn into Chessdude's face and said go, you can see Chessdude just start counting immediately. He's like, wait a minute, I could actually win from here?
Yeah.
And you talked about how good that Councilman card is right there. Yeah. Unbelievable. Wow.
11 attack there at the end that Councilman had. So it can get out of control pretty quickly. And I think that's just a matter of Pacoima miscounting. I think he might have thought that was lethal and counted the tap as sort of extra damage for the next turn. Because he thought about that for a long time. And then when the turn came, he just threw out the burst immediately without thinking. He didn't calculate, like, how much damage can my opponent do? He didn't tap last turn, so does he have that much burst in his hand? And just really great play from Chessdude, understanding the circumstances, understanding that not tapping is the correct play there is something that not a lot of players would do. They would see a board state where they can't do anything, they can't play anything, they would tap automatically. So really great patience. I enjoyed Chessdude's play there.
Yeah, I mean, that was unbelievable and even, I dare say, masterful there. I mean, he's a very, very good freeze mage player himself, so he probably already had it in his mind. He's like, oh, yeah, he could only do 24 and I'm at 26, or, whatever the difference of 2 was there. He probably knew immediately how much damage Pacoima had, and then he's like, I might be able to win this on the way back. Just super surprising to both of us that the game ended up that way, and I don't think anyone was more surprised than Pacoima there, but he's going to get a little bit of money and stuff for his efforts here. But Chessdude's going to be moving on.
Yeah, he's going to get he's going to play in a third, fourth place match later on. So it's either going to be 150 or 50 and pick up a couple Geico points as well. But Chessdude will be playing in the finals, which will be coming up after our next semifinal. And that semifinal is going to be between Prophecy and Shoop. So that's going to be coming up next. Before we head to the break, guys, we want to talk a little bit more to you about the event. Of course, this leads into feature tournament number 3, which of course leads into PAX Prime. $60,000 prize pool for the whole event. So we'd like to give a big thanks to Geico, Video Game Voters Network, and of course, CyberPower PC. During the break, make sure you guys head over to the website. On the website, right in the middle of the page, you can get a free quote from Geico. So if you have insurance for anything, renter's insurance, car insurance, any type of insurance, I'm sure that you can save money by switching to Geico. So it's free. You can head on the website, get a quote. It really shows Geico that you're invested in esports and you appreciate them being invested in esports. So make sure you guys go ahead and do that. Also, if you're planning on buying a PC soon and spending a good amount of money on it, CyberPower PC is offering 5% off with a promo code that's right on the website. I think it's ONOG5. But just go to the website, and if you're spending over $1,300, they have a promo code for 5% off. So make sure you head there and do that as well. But we are going to have to go to a 3-minute break before we jump into the next match. So don't go anywhere, guys. More 2016 ONOG circuit right after this.